Welcome to the 36th episode of NPSee, the series that aims to bring the unimportant NPCs from games to light. Let us dive right into the vast province of Cyrodiil in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Last episode we looked at the three rowdy Nords on the Anvil docks, but one in particular, Heinrich Oakenhall, has a wife. Despite his wife and friendship with the literal countess, he expresses a dislike for the town, seemingly wanting to be at sea, or at least refitting his ship somewhere else. Hasathil is a wood elf woman and Heinrich's wife. She has a side to this too, for what would you do if your husband was gone so long all the time? If the town thought your love, a wood elf with a Nord husband, was a disgraceful pairing? Well, perhaps you would... Oh no. Enilroth is a wood elf man and the apprentice of the local blacksmith, Varel Morvain. He works well and is held in high repute with his master. He spends most of his time at the workplace, where he also lives, but does wander around some, a completely normal man. To not leave him behind, I will also examine the smith, Varel Morvain. He's a dark elf man that has served the local community for 3 decades, but feels he's getting on in years and is thus training his successor. Hasathil tells us,
I'm Hasathil, Heinrich Oakenhall's wife. The life of a sailor's wife isn't an easy one. Heinrich is at sea 9 months out of 10. But Anvil's a friendly town, and the 9 console me.
Yes, the 9 console her. 8 of them are even gods.
Are there any among...
Enilroth boasts his position.
Enilroth, Morvain's apprentice. Varel Morvain's been a good master. I like the town and the people. No reason why I wouldn't want to be here for many years. Just like the master.
He seems to be very enthusiastic about this place. Varel Morvain advertises,
Varel Morvain. Been making weapons and arms here in Anvil for 30 years. People say I do good work, and I don't aim to argue with them.
and speaks of his history.
Been here 30 years, and I expect I'll last another 10 or so. When I'm gone, God's willing, my apprentice, Enilroth, will tend the smithy.
It seems he is a very dependable man and has everything figured out. Surely he has chosen a trustworthy apprentice.
Only quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
King Key.
Hasathil begins her morning at 6 a.m. with a 2-hour breakfast before heading out towards the chapel. There she listens to the prophet ranting about the end of the world in front of it.
There is truth in blood, but not the truth that you seek. The truth is written in the blood of the innocent, there in the chapel of love. Can you not read the ancient runes?
If the DLC Knights of the Nine were not installed, she would instead be inside the chapel praying. At midday, she works the garden beside her house. There she grows tomatoes, grapes, and other crops instead of flowers. At 4 p.m, she departs the main gates for the stables, where she finds a small corner to meet a special someone for some friendship.
Goodbye.
Good day. Hello. Oh, hello.
After 4 hours of infidelity, she returns home to dinner and her side guy. At 10 p.m, she heads to bed before he can ask any questions. Enilroth wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes to the Flowing Bowl, an inn in the docks, for breakfast. At 8, he joins his master in the smithy for the majority of the day. But at 4, he departs for the stables, just as Hasathil did, coincidentally. There he meets a good friend and they do very friend things.
Have you heard?
I've heard. Take care.
After 4 hours, he heads back to the docks inn for a couple of hours for dinner. At 10, he returns to the shop and to bed at 12 a.m. Varel starts his morning with a couple of hours wandering the smithy before work at 8. He remains behind the counter all day until 8 p.m. At that time, he leaves and takes a walk around town for some fresh air, and returns home at 11 p.m. and to sleep at 12. So there's a brief window in which you can break in and steal everything if you want. Hasathil's house was covered in episode 35, and she lives there with her husband. Enilroth resides with Varel in the local smithy, just off the plaza from the north gate. It is an easy business to spot with its sign hanging there for the anvil-style construction. Through the sheltered front door, we enter the main shop. To the left is the counter over which Varel does his dealing. Armor and weapons litter the surfaces and walls throughout the room. Ahead is a warming fireplace and seating area, and to the right is the forge setup with everything needed. There appear to be 2 stations, which makes sense. Stairs lead up to the left to the bedrooms. Therein is some living and storage space, as well as a double bed for the master and his apprentice to share. A balcony beyond looks back over the shopfront.
Ugly little animal. Horrid beast.
Hasathil fights like the average commoner and bears no weapons.
Yeah.
She is easily slain.
It's all.
She wears a full russet felt outfit and carries her house key and a handful of gold pieces. She also has a hoe for her gardening. Enilroth and Varel are stronger and can take more of a beating. The Wood Elf fights back with his dagger, and Varel is liable to fetch a weapon from his stock. He's a smith after all. Enilroth is essential due to being involved in a late guild questline. He's wearing huntsman gear and moccasins, and carries the expected key and gold. Varel wears a full blacksmith's getup and rough leather shoes, and has his key and gold. It's always interesting to see what the developers did to muddy the waters between these NPCs' relationships, not just making things straightforward. There is no direct proof that Hasathil is cheating, no dialogue, etc., but the secretive way they meet up in a secluded place leads to that conclusion. Let the NPCs Hasathil, Enilroth, and Varel Morvain be NPCed. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again in the next episode.
Good master.